I am once again packing for another trip. Seem to always be doing that, but I wanted to take the time today to share some packing tips we learned over the years with you. So we travel about once a month to Walt Disney World, and sometimes we go on cruises, Disneyland, and other places, of course. And so it's become kind of a routine, and we've got some tips that we've acquired over the years, both when we were traveling with little kids and without. And I wanted to share some of those with you. Just a quick disclaimer, we're not minimalists, so take what's helpful here and leave what's not, but just maybe you'll get some ideas for your own packing for your trip. Let's start with the most obvious one, which is clothing. Now, if you're going to Florida, to Walt Disney World, most of your clothing that you pack is going to be summery, right? It's going to be lightweight, it's going to be shorts, short sleeve shirts, that kind of thing. So that part of that is easy. If you happen to be going in November through February-ish, you might want to check the forecast just before your trip, because there's a chance that the temperatures could be cool in the morning or evening, and you might want to throw in something a little bit heavier, like a light jacket or something like that. But it varies, so make sure you check before your trip. But during the warmer times of year, which is almost all of them, you might want to consider packing more than one outfit per day, because I think it's pretty normal. People think 7-day trip, 7 outfits, but we find ourselves doing more than one outfit per day because of the weather. So sometimes we'll go out into the parks in the morning or early afternoon, come back for a break. And when we come back for a break, we might take a shower, get cleaned up, put on something else before we go out to dinner. And so that means we have to pack more than one outfit per day. And you might want to consider that as you are putting together your suitcase. You might want to bring a couple different kinds of shoes. It's a lot of walking, and I like to have a couple different types of shoes so that it's not rubbing on the same part of my foot for the whole trip. And make sure they're worn out before your trip so that you're not breaking in a new pair of shoes while you are in the Disney World parks. You probably won't need to pack anything too dressy unless you happen to have a dining reservation in the parks at a restaurant that requires it, or on a cruise ship if you're going on a cruise. But otherwise, things can be pretty casual, which makes it kind of easy. If you're traveling with little ones, you might want to consider putting their clothes in Ziploc bags. So really young kids, their outfits will fit into a quart bag, and then bigger kids in gallon bags. And you can roll it up, which keeps it from getting too wrinkly, but that makes it easy to just pull an outfit out and go. It's already matched. They can be a little bit more autonomous and get themselves ready that way, and save a little space in your luggage as well. A couple of things not to forget: costumes or whatever, whether it is Halloween costume or a Baby Dubai boutique outfit or whatever, don't forget to pack those as well. And swimsuits. If you plan to swim, make sure you have all the gear for that, including a bag that you can carry to and from the pool with all your stuff. Next, let's talk toiletries. So I happen to travel with a toiletry bag, so I have everything organized. It keeps it just a little bit tidier that way. The basic toiletries are going to be in Disney World resort rooms, like shampoo and conditioner and body soap. There will be little tubes of lotion, as well as bar soap to wash your hands. If you want liquid hand soap, you might want to pack that. You also need to make sure that you include sunscreen, because you will definitely need it in the Florida sun. If you forget it or anything else, you can buy most of it in the Disney World gift shops. However, it will be, as predicted, much more expensive than what you can buy at home. So try to bring as much as you can so that you're prepared during your trip. But don't get too worried if you forget, because you can always pick up the odd item here or there in the gift shop. Now let's talk about medicine. Obviously, if you have prescriptions, you're going to want to bring those with you. If you happen to forget one, then there are ways to get that handled while you're at Disney World, including delivery options or just chains that are available just outside of Disney World property, CVS, Walgreens, etc. But in addition to that, you might want to also consider bringing a small first aid kit just to keep on hand, just in case. You want like a Band-Aid, box Band-Aids, or antibiotic ointment, things like that. If you don't have those with you, the first aid stations in the parks will provide it, so you can always go there for basic supplies. In addition to some of the basic toiletries that you would always think to bring, you might want to bring a couple things that are specific to going to a theme park, Disney World specifically. One is motion sickness remedies. Everybody's affected differently by rides, and so if you struggle with motion sickness, you might want to have some stuff on hand just in case. The other is moleskin, which is helpful for blisters from walking all those miles every day in the parks. Next up, how about laundry supplies? Now, nobody wants to think about laundry on vacation, but sometimes it's a necessary evil, especially if you're going through 2 outfits per day and you only brought one. But you might want to consider bringing laundry supplies. They are for sale in the laundry rooms. There are laundry rooms at all the Disney World resorts. and they have a vending machine of supplies in each one. But if you want to bring some from home, that might save you a little bit of money and trouble. And that way you can get your laundry done mid-trip if you need to. All or nearly all of the laundry facilities accept credit cards. So in the past where we would have brought coins for this purpose, usually the credit cards will work now. In addition to those laundry supplies, you might want to consider a laundry bag for toting your laundry or storing it in your room. We actually travel with pop-up hampers so that we can keep our dirty clothes organized and in one spot. Either of those will work, but make sure you throw them in your bag before your trip. Now let's talk about paperwork, which can be physical or digital. In the olden days, there was a lot of actual paperwork, and now almost everything is just on our phones. But make sure on your phone you have screenshots or files of some sort of all your confirmations before you head out on your trip. You may want to throw a notepad and pen in your bag just in case you need to jot down things as you go. You might want to also stop by an ATM to get some cash for tipping. That part catches a lot of us off guard when we're used to doing everything digital, because there's a lot of opportunities to tip. And if anybody still does postcards, then you need to make sure that you have all the addresses beforehand, and you might want to pick out some stamps to make it easier to send. Let's talk food and kitchen supplies. So you can order basic supplies in Orlando, have them delivered to your hotel if you want, but you can also bring some. For some reason, people think you can't travel with food, but you absolutely can. So for instance, on my trip that I'm getting ready to go on, I will be bringing a box of protein bars because it's my favorite snack to have. And this particular brand is not necessarily easy to find. And so you can do that. A lot of people with little kids that have particular favorite snacks right now might want to make sure they have them, because maybe when you order them in Orlando, you won't get the exact thing that you need. It's totally fine as long as the items are non-perishable. You can throw it in. You can do fresh fruits. You can do snacks. You can do whatever. But however you get your snacks, you can either take it in your luggage or you can get it delivered at the resort. You might want to also consider bringing paper goods if you plan to eat in the room, like paper plates or disposable cups. You might want to bring your own eco-friendly straws. We bring our own straws that are not paper because we don't like the paper straws at Disney World, but we still want to be eco-friendly, so we bring our own. I know a lot of people use reusable straws as well. If you want to wash anything in the room, you might want to bring a little bit of dish soap for that. Ziploc bags also come in super handy. I often just, when I had little ones especially, would keep them in my backpack because you never know when you need to put something wet or snacks or whatever in there to take with you. If you plan to open a wine bottle or beer bottle or anything like that, then you might want to have a bottle opener, corkscrew, wine stopper, those kind of things on hand because they might be hard to find. And lastly, if you are a gum person, make sure you pack it because it is not sold at Disney World. They don't sell it there because it can be messy. So obviously, if you're going to take gum, don't be one of the messy people. Make sure you throw it away correctly. But be sure to bring it if gum is important to you. Let's talk your actual park touring bag, the supplies that you'll need to go in it. So we like the bags from Designer Park Co. This is one of their styles, one of their prints. They have a few different options, but we love this because it was designed for park touring, and it has like a clasp for holding your ears on. It has a mesh pocket, which is perfect for pins and buttons. It has a mesh pocket that is hidden away underneath here that is perfect for allowing wet things to kind of air out as you walk around. Lots of storage for water. Anyway, it's just really perfect for us. So this is what we put all of our supplies in it. If you happen to want to buy a bag like this, we will link it in the description, but you can use code WDWPrep to save 10% off. But inside the bag, you will want to make sure you have a few things. Magic bands, if you have them, make sure you bring them in your bag. You don't necessarily have to have them, but if you do, it would be a shame to forget it. You also are going to want an external battery. So phones have long needed external batteries because we use them a lot, but it's getting even more so, especially with Genie Plus. So make sure you don't get caught with a dead phone because there's just not a lot you can do without access to it. Some people might want a lanyard. It depends if you want easy access to like your ID, credit card. If your room key is a physical one, then you might want to have easy access with a lanyard. Refillable water bottles or water bottles in general. An autograph book if you want to get autographs from characters that you meet, and also throw in a fat pen that it's easy for them to hold on to. Since it rains constantly, you need to do ponchos or an umbrella if you don't want to get too wet. If you want to trade pens, make sure you have some on hand that you can trade in the parks. Have some sort of fan on hand, a handheld one that you can fan like this, or the USB chargeable, whatever. You will thank us later for having a fan. even if you don't run hot, you don't think yourself as a sweaty person, you get into some of those cues, the air doesn't move. It is so nice to have some of your own air circulating. Please pack some kind of a fan. And then lastly, if you're traveling with little ones, your park bag will be great for activities. So little bottles of bubbles that they can blow sticks, which are fun at night and a lot cheaper to buy at the dollar store than in the Disney theme parks, and maybe even a dry change of clothes if they're prone to getting messy. And then specifically if you're going to a water park, you might want to also include swim shoes, goggles, swim diapers, and a waterproof phone case. So we've covered things in lots of different categories, but there's just a lot of miscellaneous stuff that you might want to also include. One of those is a power strip. There are so many things to plug in and charge every day that often hotel rooms don't have enough spots for it. So we actually travel with our own USB hub and or power strip so that we can plug everything in. You might want to consider that. You also want to make sure everyone has their own headphones or earbuds so that everybody can listen to their own programming or music separately. Sound machine, if you need that in your room. If you don't have your own sound machine or don't want to bring it, you can use your phone and download sounds that way. You might want to throw a package of clothespins in your luggage because hanging wet stuff up is really convenient at the end of the day, especially if you have swimsuits or if you got caught in the rain. An over-the-door shoe organizer is really handy. I especially use this when I traveled with young children because there were just so many little items everywhere and it helped us to stay organized. So just throw it over the bathroom door or whatever, and all of our bottles and little items were all kind of gathered in one spot. You might want to also make sure you have a small pair of scissors, which always comes in handy, a night light if anyone in your party requires that, games, including playing cards to keep everybody busy. And finally, one little tip that we like to give people is to pick a room scent just for this trip, and you plug it into your room so your room smells like it. And then afterwards, anytime you smell that scent, you'll be reminded of that trip. So that's an overview of our big ultimate packing list that we have had for years on the website, and just kind of a sampling in different categories. But if you would like to have the full thing to help you remember things for your trip, that'll be linked in the description. Thanks for watching.